Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am very excited to be having a conversation with actress, dancer, and singer Ashley Park. Ashley stars as Mindy in the hit Netflix series Emily in Paris. She has also been in the movies Joyride, Mean Girls, and has had recurring roles in the shows Only Murders in the Building and Girls Five Eva. She also starred in the Broadway musical Mean Girls. Thank you so much for being on my show. I am so excited to be talking with you.
Thanks so much, Maya. I was really excited to talk with you too.
So let's get started. So, when you have a day off, what would your perfect day look like?
Ooh, I love that question. I mean, I think the definition of a perfect day off is like really just to have like no obligations, right?
Yeah.
And I think that earlier in my life probably would have been like, oh, if I have a day off, my perfect day would be like having coffee with this person, lunch with this person, dinner, like really being social. And now I think my perfect day off would probably be some Pilates in the morning, cooking breakfast and staying in bed for a little bit too. And I've really gotten into gardening recently, so I love arts and crafts. So maybe doing some arts and crafts and gardening, and then cooking maybe a dinner for me and my boyfriend. And then for me, perfect day off would be like being in bed by 7 p.m.
That sounds like a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what lessons from your childhood have most impacted your worldview?
Ooh. I love that. I have my parents are actually visiting and staying with me now. So I think whenever I see them now, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, they taught me so many things growing up. I think that so many good ones. One I'll say is my mom was always really good about, for example, on Valentine's Day or anything at school. She would always, I loved making, as I said, arts and crafts. So she would help me make like handcrafted Valentines for every single person in the class. So she was always, from a very young age, really wanted to teach me about just including everybody. And I think that, and never having somebody feel left out. And if I ever felt left out in a situation, she would always make me feel okay about it and make me understand, oh, you can have empathy. So if you ever feel like somebody else is in that situation, you can be the person that makes them feel included. So I think that, and I recently realized, especially, when I'm either in when I've been on Broadway shows or in a theater or even on set or even like at a gathering with friends or anything, like I've realized I'm so conscious about if someone looks like they're feeling left out, um, or how to make everybody feel like they're really comfortable and kind of feel a part of anything that's going on. So I think that was a lesson that I realized I really integrated into my life.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, so what has been the biggest obstacle you've overcome?
It's I think that when, we're both cancer survivors, right? And we've
Yeah.
both been through a lot. And I think that um, it's interesting when you have that as when you've been through so much. I'm talking to you personally too, that it gives you a different perspective on what a challenge is. And there's so many days, whether it's with disappointment or frustration or when I'm hard on myself, nowadays, that I have such a good perspective on whether that's a challenge that feels like it'll really deter me or really affect me or like what's happening in my life. So I think it's hard to say, it's all about like what perspective you're in right now. But I would say probably like on paper, the most challenging and the situations that I didn't know if I would really get on the other side of were times when I've been physically sick. In terms of health too, um, every day feels like a new challenge, right? And
Yeah.
there's that, it's no two people's paths, whether in life or in your health protocol or anything, is the same. And so what could be a challenge one day and a difficulty that you don't see the other end of, um, once you get past that, it could be something else totally different the next day.
Yeah.
Um, but what I've found is having to deal with those kinds of things and be resilient through them has afforded me some qualities that I'm proud of, you
Yeah.
know. When you people have been challenged in the way that we have, or been handed a part of life that we didn't expect, then you're able to maybe try to find the best in situations that feel like they're very daunting, or you believe in your own strength more when you really see what you've been through and what you've gotten through.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Um, so what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
What small things bring me joy? I love the sunshine. So as soon as I wake, if it's sunny outside, if I see the sun outside, as soon as I feel the sun on my skin, even if I'm just walking outside, um, that will automatically put me in a really, really good place, a good mood. Um, and yeah, I'm the kind of I'm like scared of the dark. Like I'm really, like I really like when there's light and there's sun. So I guess the sun is not really a small thing. It's actually
Yeah.
very, very big,
Yeah.
like logistically. But
Yeah.
um, and I think just anything that makes me laugh. I'm easy to laugh. So whether it's with my loved ones around me or anything, anytime I get a chance to just to laugh, that laughing gives you endorphins too, um,
Yeah.
and sends like happiness through your body. So yeah, those things, and again, I've been really starting to love uh, gardening and stuff. There's something so special about really nurturing certain seeds and taking care of them in the right way, and then seeing them grow. It kind of reminds us of how we're always growing every day too, and we're always changing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I personally am not a fan of the heat, so I like more when it's like overcast days or like
Yeah.
cloudy. Um, that those are my favorite.
It's totally preference. Some of my best friends like like I would much rather go on a like to the beach on holiday, and like my best friend would never want to go to the beach. Like would much rather be in like the cold mountains. So, but
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting, like we all have a different relationship with nature, right? And so
Yeah.
and different parts of nature spark different things in people.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so if you had a reality TV show about your life, what would your theme song be?
What a great question, Maya. I've
Thank
done a lot
you.
of interviews and I've never been asked that one. What would my theme song be? For a reality TV show? Oh yeah, if they are falling through my life. I think it would probably be, even in days where I'm feeling very overwhelmed or daunted, like something funny, probably like a sitcom type of song, right? So I think I'm not sure exactly what song, but definitely like an upbeat one with like a lot of personality, some like good bass notes and a good drum kick to it, but and with like a really singable melody.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I can't think of a specific song right now, but I love that question.
Yeah.
I'll think about that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I am pop culture obsessed and go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching. Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
Yes, I mean, I love that. I'm kind of the same way too. It's like I get very devoted to a show. What I've started to do is I've been watching shows that have been popular like years ago, so I can like go through all of the seasons at once because I like to binge.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, this past year I've finished all 21 seasons of Top Chef like within a couple of months. Love that show. Um, And recently I just went through all the seasons of Veep. I had never I'd watched different episodes like while they were coming out, but it was really fun to sit down and watch the whole thing. Um, and yeah, so those are two right now.
Yeah. Oh, I love those. Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes of Veep, and I've been meaning to go back and rewatch,
Yeah,
um, or and watch the rest because I thought it was very funny.
totally.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm also I love binge watching, and then I also love having the week to week shows because it gives you something to look forward to.
That's very
Um,
true.
so I
What,
do
what show
like
did you just what shows have you been binging recently?
I just finished watching the new show Cross on
Oh,
Amazon Prime.
what is that? What's the premise of that one?
It's based on a James Patterson book. It's about a detective who like his wife is killed and he's trying to find out who did it while also tracking a
Oh, right.
serial killer. And
See,
it's
I feel like I love stuff. I love the plots of stuff like that, but I get so scared because I love to
yeah.
relax while I'm watching TV, and I get like really. That's why I like cooking shows because it's like it's never going to be like life or death, even though it feels that way sometimes. It feels like even if there's tension, I'm not scared.
Yeah, I don't love like dark. I don't love horror or like anything super creepy.
Mm,
But I feel like if a show is creepy, but it has like a very interesting plot, then I'm
yeah,
into it, and that's what Cross is. It's creepy, but it has such a good plot line. So I
and a
was
lot of
very excited.
suspense. Whenever there's
Yeah,
suspense, that always the
yeah,
problem is then as soon as I start watching, then I will watch the whole thing, and then I'll just have like I won't be able to go to sleep for a couple nights.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely, after watching that show, I had to watch something funny before going to bed.
Yeah, like a palate cleanser. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah. What, no matter how many times you see it, always takes your breath away?
Probably, you mean in terms of, I mean, I was going to say the sunset, but do you mean in terms of like a movie or something like that?
No, I mean, really, I feel like really whatever that question means to you, like I
Oh, I
kind of
love
like,
it.
yeah.
I'll say the sunset because I think that like, it's especially being whenever you're in different places or different times of the year, it's always just like different. So, and sometimes you don't get to see the sunset, when you're in a
Yeah.
city or you're inside or something like that. So whenever I get a chance to see that, that always takes my breath away.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So what movie or show do you find yourself quoting more often than you'd like?
Oh, good question. I mean, I probably what I quote the most is probably stuff from Friends and then like lines from Joyride. Like I'm gonna get dinner with Sherry Cola t tonight, and we tend to even when we're texting, everything kind of there's some kind of way to tie in something that we one of us said or something like that on that movie. So, um, but I don't think the last part of the question makes sense for that because I don't mind quoting those things, but
Yeah.
you know. I often like whether it's I'm picking up a chair and I'm like pivot, pivot from Friends or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most often.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I feel like I quote so many things all the time, but it's always I want to quote them.
Yeah, it's always like for it's to be funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Friends I quote a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of quotable things from there.
Yeah, there are. I feel like I also the show Psych, I quote that all the time.
Oh,
Too.
really?
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I, for a while after we binged The Bear, we would just always be like there's a that sign of like I see you or like thank you, that kind of thing. So we did
Yeah.
that a lot too. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, so how do you keep yourself motivated on days you aren't feeling it?
Oh, I think I'm still in the process of figuring that out, right? Um, because there's so many things that affect our motivation. You know, some days like maybe my body feels motivated, but my mind is not there. And sometimes my like heart and I'm very passionate and motivated about something, but maybe I didn't get enough sleep or my mind, I'm not there all the way. Um, so I think that maybe like in terms of whether it's work or whether I'm with the there's something being asked of me in terms of like being social or something like that, um or yeah, or if I had to get up really early and like something feels like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this day, or I don't feel very motivated to do this. I think that probably the lesson of just gratitude is always like, if I think about, oh my, how much did I want to be in this position last year, 10 years ago, or how much, just having again that perspective that we learn at a young age of like, oh, this is something that I really worked hard for, or I'm getting, if it's an opportunity, like this is very special. And trying to, I think also the fear of regret, right? Um, I think I learned that very early, whether, when you're a kid and you have those very vivid memories of stuff that taught you, oh, I don't like this feeling and this is what regret is, and I don't want to feel this way again. So I think the not wanting to feel regret also, if I'm not feeling motivated in a day, gives me some motivation of like, let me make the best of this day or this situation as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely yeah, relate to that. I there was just this one like example. It was several years ago. There, like I was at a camp that people were lining, and I was terrified of that. I got to the top and like completely freaked out. I was like, I can't do this. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna regret it if I
Yeah.
don't do it. So I just had them
Yeah.
push me.
That's a great example. Yeah. And then afterwards, were you happy that you did it?
I was, and then I also thought I never have to do that again.
Exactly. Once you do it once, it's like it's done, and like
Yeah,
you can't knock it, 'cause you can knock it because you tried it, you know?
yeah.
Um, but oh, that's a really good yeah, zip line. I think something that motivates me too, which is I'm not sure if it's a great attribute, is as soon as someone says I can't do something or I wouldn't be able to do something, they don't think I can do it, then I want to do it.
Yeah,
Whether it be, so if it was like zip lining, I was too, if someone was like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to do it. You're probably too scared or something," that will immediately make me want to do
oh, yeah.
it.
I'm the same way. Yeah. Um, yeah, so, if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
A warning label?
Yeah.
Oh, I think like most people who know me would say I'm the clumsiest person they know. So either like will fall, will spill on you, will, anything like that. So, or like will laugh at anything because I'm very quick to laugh too. So it's a warning in a good way and a bad way, so.
Yeah. I like that one. Yeah. I yeah, I would probably have one just with you saying laughing when like you shouldn't, or
Yeah,
laughing at
yeah,
weird
yeah.
times. I feel like, yeah, I'd have one that's like will laugh at like very, I don't know, either inappropriate times or like very uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
We'll
will
laugh when it's
just,
awkward. We'll laugh
yeah,
at the worst times.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, laughter gets us through all those things. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you wish people better understood about you?
Huh. That's really good. Better understood about me. I think that maybe right now that I work really hard to put out positivity into the world or to um, uplift people by showing, it just like many of us, the beautiful parts of my life or the parts that make me happy to think about. So that's what I'll share with the world. Um, but that I think maybe that I work really, really hard. And and things that may look like it's easy or it's fun look that way because I've worked hard to make it that way or to and not and to find a genuine way of making those things fun and great and all these things. But I think that maybe that I'm just incredibly very intentional and very yeah, and have and work. I think a lot more than people may give me credit for.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
How about you?
Um, I don't know. I feel like just uh that like I might need like a little more time to like understand something or like get the hang of something, but that I if I have a hard time with something, I might need a little more time, but like I can do it and I want like there have been some people that just like think I just can't do it if I don't like understand something right away. But I want, yeah, people to understand. It might take me a little longer, but I can do it.
I love that. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. That, and sometimes it takes, some people, it takes them a long time to learn something, whether it be craft or to understand something. But those are sometimes the people who are most passionate about it and end up doing it just like the best.
Yeah.
Because they've taken that time to really understand whatever it is they're being taught or they're being introduced to. And so
Yeah.
that once they know all of that, then they can really put their heart behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So do you have any irrational fears?
Yes, so many. I said, how many have I mentioned already? The dark. Um, I mean, it's really that. Like, I remember like being scared of like Voldemort finding me for like many years. 'Cause I love the Harry Potter books and watched all the movies. And I was like, he's gonna come in here any second. Like, truly, all the way through like my mid 20s, probably afterwards too. But like, really irrational fears of like monsters and that kind of thing. And it's irrational because those aren't real, right? But look, I even want to knock on one right now. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, anything. I'm like a big scaredy cat.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that. I feel like I have so many irrational fears too, and I don't like the dark either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually like if I'm like in the dark, my brain will just go crazy and I'm like I need a light on. I need something to distract.
Yeah. I've always been that way too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I just have one final question for you.
Perfect.
Um, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, the one that spoke to me is please never forget how brave it is to continue to explore next pages despite feeling fear and anxiety. Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Oh, that's great. Who said that quote?
I don't think anybody
Hmm.
said it. I found it on Instagram. Um,
Great. I love when Instagram gives us good nuggets, right?
yeah.
Um, I'm not sure if this is a quote, but it's something I've been thinking about. You know, the things that, so it's not like a very quotable, I'll try to explain it, but the things that we sometimes feel like are our flaws, or that we try to hide and get rid of because we want to fit in. Those are the things that make us special. Those are the coolest parts of who we are. And those are the things that we should be nurturing and celebrating rather than trying to hide.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah, so that's more of a concept than a quote, but
but I love that. I think that's a great one.
yeah.
I'm gonna remember that because
Oh,
I
good.
needed to hear that. So
Oh,
thank
good.
you.
Yeah, it's something I've been kind of like thinking about for the past week or so. I think I was realizing, thinking of myself very young and how much I didn't like the unique parts of myself, and I wanted to try to quiet those so I could fit in and not stand out in any way.
Yeah,
But those were the things that made the fabric of who I am. So
I love that. Yeah. Well, I have just had the best time talking with you. I can't tell you how much this means to me.
this
Um,
means a lot to me too. These were like some of the most thoughtful questions I think I've ever gotten. It really made my day.
oh, thank you. You made my day. I love everything you do, and I just when I read that you're a cancer survivor, I just felt this immediate connection. So
Me
thank you.
too.
So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I hope you do too. And I am sending you
Yeah.
so much love.
Thank you. I'm sending so much love back. So,
Yay!
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much. And that's a wrap on today's edition of the latest with Maya.